Hello, I'm Anna Mackay, and this video is the third in the arithmetic sequences set of 3. So one last example here. So Ryan is a cartoonist. His comic strip has just been bought by a newspaper, so he sends them 28 comic strips that he has drawn so far. Each week after, he sends 3 more comic strips to the newspaper. So you can anticipate that we're trying to work out how many will he send over time and in any particular week. How many has he sent in total? Okay, so first of all we have to find the total number of comic strips sent after 1, 2, 3 and 4 weeks. So starting off quite simply there, that week 1, 28 comic strips, that's our initial value, our first term in the sequence, and then adding on how many each time, it's 3. So therefore, second week, 28 plus 3 is 31. Week 3, week 4, 34 and 37 comic strips. Fairly straightforward. Now, part B of this example asks us to show that the total number of comic strips sent after n weeks forms an arithmetic sequence. So, always remembering our formula for an arithmetic sequence is that Tn is equal to T initial plus n take 1 times by d. So what values do we need to know for that? We need to know our initial value and a difference. Well, we've got them. T1 is our first week, and how much is it changing by each week? 3. So, putting that in words, every week Ryan sends 3 comic strips, so the difference between successive weeks is always 3. And we have an arithmetic sequence with the first term is 28 and the difference is 3. So we do have an arithmetic sequence here. Alright, just leaving that one there. For moving on to part C, find the number of comic strips sent after 15 weeks. So it's our 15th term in that sense. So we need to write out our general formula. Here's one I prepared earlier. So for that is here, our first term, n take 1 times by d, substituting those in that we've identified here, 28 for our first term and d equals 3, substituting them in, and we expand the bracket, so we're doing 3 multiplied by n and 3 multiplied by negative 1, so we're going to get 28 subtract 3, which will give us 25. So here's our 25 plus 3 lots of n. Now, so go back and read the question. No, it wasn't find the general term, it was to find the number of comic strips after 15 weeks. So that 15 is there, that's our n, and therefore to substitute that into the formula, we end up with 70 comic strips after 15 weeks. Always good to put it in a sentence. If it asked you the question in a sentence, put your answer in a sentence. Easy way to remember it. Another part here, when does Ryan send his 100th and 20th comic strip? There might be a celebration after 120, who knows? So our n then is, n is the thing we're trying to solve. So therefore the answer is 120. So we can put that general formula equal to 120 and solve for n. So subtracting 25 off both sides leaves you with 3n is equal to 95. Dividing through by 3, we get 31 and 2/3. Just having a think about if it needed to get to the end of a week, after the 31st week, has he reached 120? Not quite. He has to get 2/3 of the way through the next week. But in this case, it's sufficient to say in the 32nd week. Just make sure you always read the question, because it might say, you've got to, make sure it says, just it gets to the end of the week, or it should be clear. Here it says, when does he send his 120th? So it'll be during that week sometime. Okay, that's the end of this 3-part video, and the next video in this series will be called Geometric Sequences, and that's 2 parts to that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you.